$127. That's what's left in your checking account after tithing. You don't think of it as broke? Dave Ramsey doesn't use the word broke, he uses the word starting point. You are on baby step 1, you have a $1,000 emergency fund sitting in a separate savings account that you are not allowed to touch. You made that rule yourself, you are proud of it. You are 24 years old. You have $34,000 in student loans, $6,200 on 2 credit cards, and a car payment of $387 a month on a 2019 Honda Accord that Dave would tell you to sell. You know this. You have listened to the podcast 4 days a week for 11 months. You know what he would say about the car. You are not ready to hear it yet. This is where most people stop, at the knowing. You cut the subscriptions first. Netflix, Spotify, the gym membership you used 6 times, you cancel them on a Tuesday night sitting at your kitchen table with a legal pad and a highlighter. The legal pad is from Dave, the highlighter is yours, you feel something close to control for the first time in 2 years. The total monthly savings is $94, you write it down, you underline it. The beans and rice begin in February. Not metaphorically, actual beans, actual rice. You find 3 recipes, you rotate them, your coworkers notice your lunch and say nothing, which feels like something, you stop going to the Friday happy hour, you tell people you're on a budget, some of them respect it. One of them calls you boring at a volume that wasn't quite accidental. You don't go back. Your first debt payoff is the smaller credit card, $2,100, you attack it with the debt snowball exactly as instructed, minimum payments on everything else, every extra dollar at the smallest balance. Dave calls this behavior modification, you call it the only thing that has ever worked. The day the balance hits 0, you screenshot it, you send it to nobody. There is no one in your life who would understand why a 0 balance on a credit card feels like the first true thing you've done in years. But it does. The first rule, the system works best on people who were never taught the system. Sell the Accord, this takes 6 weeks of convincing yourself. You run the numbers 4 times, the car payment, the insurance, the interest. Dave's voice is very clear on this. You sell it for $17,400. You buy a 2009 Camry with 94,000 miles for $6,800 cash. The Camry has an aux cord that doesn't work and a driver's seat that lists slightly to the left. You drive it to work every day. You feel no shame about this. You feel like someone who made a decision. The freed $387 a month goes directly to the second credit card. You are doing the thing, the full thing, budget every dollar, zero-based. Every month starts at 0 and every dollar gets a name before the month begins. You use a spreadsheet because Dave's app costs money and the spreadsheet is free and you are on baby step 2. People in your life begin to notice that you don't spend money, not in a dramatic way. In the quiet way where you're always suggesting the free thing, the potluck instead of the restaurant, the walk instead of the bar. Some people adjust. Some people stop calling. You log this without emotion and keep moving. Month 14, the second credit card is gone. $4,100 eliminated. You've paid off $6,200 in credit card debt in 14 months on a $48,000 salary while maxing a $1,000 emergency fund and driving a car that lists to the left. You do the math on what that required. You don't tell anyone the math. Now the student loans. $34,000. Dave calls this the mountain. He is not wrong. You set up automatic payments above the minimum. Every raise, every bonus, every birthday check from your grandmother goes directly to the principal. You tell your grandmother this on the phone. She is silent for a moment and then says she's proud of you. This is the first time anyone has said that about a financial decision you've made. You are 26, you have $9,400 left on the student loans, you work a second job on weekends for 7 months. Data entry, remote, $18 an hour. It is not interesting. It is not supposed to be interesting. You log in at 8 a.m. on Saturdays while your friends are sleeping. You think about the number going down. You do not think about anything else. The shift, the debt is gone before your 27th birthday. You stand in your kitchen on a Wednesday evening and you transfer the final $9,400 and you watch the balance go to 0. No confetti, no ceremony. You make a bowl of pasta, the regular kind, not beans and rice, and you sit with it. You are debt-free, no credit cards, no student loans, no car payment. You have done what approximately 8% of people who start Dave Ramsey's program actually finish. You feel the silence of it. Now baby step 3, fully funded emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses. Your monthly expenses are $1,840. You target $11,000. It takes 8 months. You put it in a high-yield savings account earning 4.6%. Dave technically prefers a regular savings account at a local bank. You use the high yield account anyway. This is the first time you've deviated from the instructions. It won't be the last. Baby step 4, invest 15% of household income into retirement. You open a Roth IRA, you open it at Fidelity, you put it in a target date fund, you contribute $583 a month. Dave says mutual funds with a good 10-year track record. You do the research. The index funds outperform the actively managed funds in the data. You put it in the index fund. This is the second deviation. You are 28, your net worth is $31,000, almost entirely in a retirement account you cannot touch for 30 years. And here is where the system gets quiet. Dave's plan is built for the climb out. The tools are exceptional for that. The debt snowball, the zero-based budget, the emotional architecture of small wins building toward larger ones, it works, it worked for you. But at baby step 4 you begin to notice that the plan gets thinner. The advice becomes general. Mutual funds with good 10-year track records. Pay off the house early, give, be generous. The specificity that saved you is gone. You make $54,000 now. You are investing 15%, you have no debt, you have an emergency fund, you are doing everything right, and you run the numbers one night, the real numbers all the way out. If you contribute 15% of your income every year until 65, assuming a 10% annual return, you will have approximately $1.3 million at retirement. That number sounds large. Then you calculate what $1.3 million actually produces. At a 4% withdrawal rate, that's $52,000 a year, before tax, in 37 years, when inflation has quietly compounded the entire time. The plan protects you, it does not necessarily free you. The second rule, debt freedom is not the same as financial independence. The system that gets you out of the hole is not always the system that builds what comes after. You start reading, not Dave, other things, index fund research, real estate fundamentals, tax strategy. You learn what a Roth conversion ladder is. You learn what house hacking means. You learn that buying a small multi-family property and living in one unit while renting the others can replace a salary in ways that a mutual fund cannot replicate for decades. Dave does not talk about this. Dave does not talk about leverage in any positive framing. Debt is debt. All of it. The student loan and the mortgage on a rental property occupy the same moral category in the system. You understand why. The system was built for people drowning in consumer debt. For them, that framing is a lifeline. For you, at 29 with no debt and a fully funded emergency fund, that framing has become a ceiling. You buy a duplex. Dave would not approve, you know this. You put 20% down, $36,000 on a $182,000 property in a working-class neighborhood 20 minutes from your job. You live in one unit. You rent the other for $950 a month. Your mortgage is $1,040. You are effectively living for $90 a month. The math is not complicated, the decision is. You have violated the doctrine. You have taken on debt deliberately. You have used leverage. You have done the thing the system told you never to do again. You lie awake the first 2 weeks and run the numbers in the dark, the same numbers, checking them the way you used to check a bank balance you were afraid of. The numbers don't change, they hold. Your tenant pays on time for 9 consecutive months. The property appreciates. You refinance in month 18 at a lower rate. Your effective housing cost drops to $0. You are 30, your net worth is $94,000. The duplex equity alone accounts for $41,000 of it. You are still maxing the Roth. You have kept every discipline Dave taught you, the budget, the intention, the refusal to let lifestyle inflate to meet income. Those things did not come from the duplex. Those things came from the beans and rice and the $127 balance and the Saturday mornings doing data entry while your friends were still sleeping. The shift, the system gave you the foundation. What you built on it was yours. You are not anti-Dave. You say this clearly when people ask. The debt snowball worked when nothing else did. The zero-based budget rewired how you think about money at a cellular level. The emergency fund meant that when your water heater failed last March, you wrote a check for $1,100 and it cost you nothing but $1,100. Those are not small things. For most people, those are the entire game. But the plan ends at baby step 7. Give generously, pay off the house, build wealth in mutual funds, and somewhere in there is an assumption that following the steps faithfully will eventually produce freedom. It will produce security. It will produce a retirement that is fine. Fine is not nothing. You just want to be precise about what it is. What Dave Ramsey's plan does, it removes the chaos. It replaces panic with process. It eliminates the debt that was quietly taxing every decision you made. It builds a floor beneath you that does not move. What it does not do, it does not teach you to think about money as a tool that moves. It does not address leverage as anything other than danger. It does not prepare you for the question that comes after the debt is gone, which is the harder question. Not how do I stop losing, but how do I actually build? You are 31, debt-free, duplex owner, Roth IRA funded, emergency fund intact, net worth just crossed $100,000. The $127 is still there, in the memory, in the legal pad with the subscriptions crossed off and the $94 underlined. You wouldn't give that back, not 1 week of it. You would just start reading a little earlier, and you would finish Dave's plan and then ask the question he never quite answers. What comes next?